My name is Rachel Maldonado. My website is rhmaldonado.com, and it is my belief in the human spirit and my desire to connect that I want to tell your story and mine. I am with Sarah McCash, who is a mom in New York City. Tell me about this.
Hi, Rachel. Yes, I am a mom in New York City with 3 kids, and it is definitely a venture every day. As you can tell right now, there's some drilling right now, so we're having renovations at this point. So thank you for having me.
How old are your kids?
So they are 9, 8, and 6.
Wow. And you know, what is that like? They're so young and you have these 3 girls. What is that like?
It's like I mentioned earlier, it's definitely an adventure. So, you know, living in the New York City city life. So sometimes the kids can take off whenever they want compared to, you know, an apartment living. Just have your freedom down the hallway. So one time my neighbor was, she actually rang my doorbell. And I was like, hey, how's it going? She's like, hey, how's it going with you? And I said, everything's great, everything's fine. She's like, sure. I'm like, yeah. And are you missing someone? I'm like, nope, I think everybody know why. And she said, I have your child. And I was like, and she pulled up my youngest child who just turned 2. And I did not know she knew how to open a door. You know, I never leave my door locked. So I was just mortified. I was like, oh my God, like, how did I miss the child? She's like, yeah, I just saw her down the hallway. And I was like mortified and embarrassed.
You know what? I think that all moms can relate because I have 3 children, and of the 2 of 3, 2 have run off. You know, one in Costco went running off and one at a play area in a mall. So, you know, those are pretty bad odds. 2 out of 3, I think all the moms can relate.
Right. You know, after 3, you just lose count, or after 2. So,
right. Yes. Yeah. But, you know, so, you know, any fun times or any good times lately with the family?
So, yeah, you know, literally, it is an adventure. I say that every day with my kids. You know, we have to look at life as an adventure in order to just to cope, right? So, so there's one instant I remember last summer. We were in Hawaii for the summer, so our basic attire was just wear a bathing suit. So literally, when you wake up, we had our bathing suits on. And, you know, all day on a bathing suit. And even to Target, you can wear a bathing suit. Like, no one will look at you, look down at you. It was the culture there. Like, you can wear bathing suits anywhere.
Yeah,
so,
that's fun.
Yeah, so it was great. So, the kid, you know, in New York City, you always have to layer in the freaking winter. So it's just so relieving and freedom to just wear basically nothing. So we get back home to New York, and school has just started. And my youngest, who just went to kindergarten, just started kindergarten. And so the first day was great. The whole family and I were, you know, literally school's a block away, and we're always late. I don't know why. So we're always late, even though we're the closest to school. So we're always running to school. And this time, you know, we were jet lagged and just trying to get a groove, second day of school. And as I entered the building, going upstairs, one of the staff said, Mrs. McCash, your daughter is not wearing pants. And I was like, what? And I looked at her, I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, oh my God. And I looked at Hunter, who just turned 5, and I was like, how can you not wear pants? She's like, I don't know, my underwear is pretty. And I was like, nobody needs to see your undies, like, feel it. And I look at all the moms and the dads at the door kissing their kids goodbyes. All the girls have like matching bows with a dress. And I was just, my daughter has no pants. I had to whisper to the new teachers, listen, I will be back. My daughter has no pants. They looked at her. They're like, oh my God. And it's all like, don't worry. I have my sweater. I wrapped her around, made a cute little skirt with my bulky sweater. And I ran home and grabbed all the ties. in her dresser and stuffed in her backpack that will last for a year. So we'd never, ever have a problem again. And so like, so every day, you know how most families would be like, hey, everyone got their shoes on, their backpack every day. Everybody has pants, please put the pants on. Like everyone got pants. That's our mantra every morning. You must put your pants on. And so, you know, and like it was embarrassing. Like I remember all these parents looking at me, but you know what? Like, it's okay. Like it has to be okay. You just keep moving on, learn from your another mom failures, and make a story and make an adventure. And so.
Wow, I love that so much, and I was in hysterics laughing, and I can relate because my middle child, my son, you know, the middle, sometimes they get overlooked a little bit. There was one time we were super late, and I just tossed him some shorts, and I'm like, here you go. And he's like, those are my brother's. So I went and got another pair, and he's like, those are swimsuits. So I've done the same thing where he's like, in a hurry, like, kid, can you just wear this? Like, why are you so picky? So I love that story. I think that, you know, moms can relate, and it's just something fun that you can laugh about, or at least I laughed. And I think that that is amazing. And, you know, right now it's such a crazy time. We're in a pandemic, and you're in the epicenter with New York City. What has that been like with kids?
There's like major renovations, so I apologize. But you know, living in especially in New York City 3 months ago was definitely the hardest because, as you know, New York City was the hot spots for all the COVID outbreaks and the cases. So it was the first month definitely was the darkest time. Like I didn't even know how I can get groceries.
Wow.
My husband works at a hospital, and so the grocery stores will open at certain hours, and you know, and he was gone at that certain hour, so I couldn't even order online because they were all backed up and by a week.
Wow.
And so it was crazy. And you know, and all of our friends a lot of them has left to different, you know, getaways, to the summer home, to the grandparents, you know, just to escape the city. And so I remember there was like 4 families, and you know, and out of the 5 families, and every week or 2 weeks they would all disappear. And so and then, you know, well, okay, we have other families to hang out with, which were we made this marriage pact with other families that we would be together, and that you could not see other families. It was just this marriage pact that we made. So we did that. And so in this 3 months, the last family has left a couple weeks ago, and my girls were devastated. They're just like, why are we still here? And like, why are we here? Why are we the last one here? Why can't we leave? Why can't we do this? And I was like, you know what, girls, like, I know it's so tough right now. I remember during breakfast, we were just like talking about it, and I was emotional too, because I was losing my support community. You know, I was losing my friends, how to survive and thrive in this COVID city. And I said, you know what, girls, like, but because we're here in New York City, you know, I want to teach you something. I'm going to teach you this new word that a lot of people do not get to experience until later in life through circumstances, or there are kids that experience it younger than you only because of circumstances. And they're like, what is this word, Mom? And I was like, listen, you are going to gain grits. They're like, what's grit? I'm like, it's the superhero strength that you will gain just because of being here and witnessing and seeing and hearing and just being part of this process. And this will give you the super skills that you will carry on with life. Everybody will have this opportunity with grit in different parts of life, but you guys just earned it a little bit earlier. And I said, remember this, like, you already on this path of the super skill. I didn't get this till later in life, and I just think this is awesome. So yes, a lot of your friends are in their vacation home and in a unicorn inflatable pool or hiking in the mountains. And yes, we're in the city, you know, within a 1,200 square feet space that we had to make home and play and be creative in. But you know what? You're going to come out so much stronger. And I remember there was just like quiet about it and just like processing. I remember I was processing. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? But, like, we have made it this far. Like, we are still the last family standing. Like, and we are now, just to say that we made it, and we not just survived, we totally thrived. So, so we're just so thankful for the families, for friends, for, just the whole support community, and just like learning day by day.
Wow. Well, I really love that, because you're in COVID-19 and you have these 3 little girls and they are so upset, and so are you. And yet you take something that is devastating, very lonely, and you say, hey, we're going to learn. We're going to learn and have grit. I love it. It's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you, Rachel. I think all of us need to work and learn how to obtain grit. I think this is an important skill that I wish that every student will graduate with before going to the real world.
Yeah.
Right.
And, thank you for sharing that about your girls and being in New York City. And I do have one last question for you. I want to know, what makes you feel alive? You have your girls, but what else?
So 3 months ago, right when the COVID happened, I had to find a piece of sanity, just because now the girls, and we had a new puppy. So I have 4 kids, 3. Yeah, we had a new puppy in training, like a total toddler. So, I just knew I needed like some quiet time to just be present with them, because they're so energy sucking. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, so my husband, again, works like, he leaves out the house by 9, and he's been working late hours at the hospital. So he's been gone for 12, 13 hours. So I was like, what's the only way that I can have me time? And that's, that's available, and that is cheap. And so, so my gym is closed. So I'm like, okay, I can't do that. So I guess I have to go outside and run into the park. And I remember when I first started, I was like, just struggling just to put my shoes on, just to get in the elevator. And then once I got outside, I had to walk uphill to Central Park. So Central Park's about a 10-15 minute walk. And it felt so brutal. And I remember that was like my first love of running. Like, I never really appreciated running. It was my church, my sacredness, my sacredness. It's a point where I was running with people all around the world, Rachel. I would call my friends from the Netherlands, call my friends, from Romania, from different coasts, West Coast, and, just, hey, you want to do a virtual run? And so they would run with me in the park, and we would just talk about life. So I would choose like a different friend, almost, if I knew it was going to be a long run. So I could barely run 2 miles, and I got down. Now I'm at the running about 8-9 miles, but I'm not running by myself. I'm running with people with me. Like, I never used to be the person that can talk and run, because I was just like hated running. So I had to conserve every energy just to run. But now I'm like, okay, we want to call it a day, and we have phone dates, and we just talk. And if I didn't have a friend that was available, then I would listen to podcasts, just like some music. And so that hour and a half has just opened my world from being, not just being a mom, but being Sarah. Remember who I am as I'm Sarah. And so it was great. So I always look forward to like my runs in the morning. So I get up at 6 o'clock and I read for a while. That was one of my goals, to read. I read more than 10 books. And I haven't read, before that, I probably read 1 book a year, if I can, Yeah. And so that would make me feel alive, because I'm connected with people, connected more myself, connected, and by the time I can do that, by the time I come, my cup is just full for that one day. If I miss that beat, I'm like really depleted. So I have to go back to run to refuel myself, just to deal for the day, just for the day.
Wow. That is beautiful too, because it feeds your spirit and you're connecting with people. So I love it. And I want to thank you so much for your stories. They made me laugh. They made my day. And I know that other people are going to laugh hearing these stories too. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Rachel, for inviting us and just to share a story. There's so much power in sharing our stories. So thank you.